The drama surrounding every NBA draft is built on hype, expectation, and the relentless search for the next generational superstar. In 2023, the world watched as Victor Wembanyama, a once-in-a-lifetime talent, became the clear-cut #1 pick, ushering in a new era for the San Antonio Spurs. Fast forward to 2025, and Cooper Flagg carried that same torch of inevitability, seen by scouts and fans alike as the consensus future face of the league. But tucked between those two seismic drafts was the 2024 class, one that analysts quickly labeled the weakest since 2013. There was no definitive top player, no obvious franchise savior, and no lock for the #1 spot. The uncertainty hung heavy over the class like a storm cloud, and history reminded everyone what could go wrong when the spotlight shines too brightly. Back in 2013, Anthony Bennett went first overall to the Cleveland Cavaliers, only to be out of the NBA in 3 short years. Yet even in that so-called weak class, greatness still found a way to rise. Giannis Antetokounmpo, drafted outside the top 10, went on to redefine what it meant to be a modern superstar. That lesson echoes through time. Just because the top of a draft looks shaky, it doesn't mean the class is empty. And in 2024, a similar story began to unfold. Only this time, the overlooked prospect wasn't an international unknown. He was supposed to be the #1 pick. Every scout had him at the top of their boards. Yet on draft night, 10 teams turned their backs, and already many are left haunted by the decision. This is the story of Matas Buzelis, the 6'10" forward with Lithuanian roots and Chicago blood, a player once hyped as the crown jewel of his class, who slid all the way to the 11th pick. For some franchises, that choice may become the mistake that defines an era. For Chicago, it may be the decision that resurrects a city's basketball identity. To understand Matas Buzelis, you have to go back to the beginning. His journey wasn't forged in isolation, nor was his destiny manufactured out of thin air. Basketball wasn't just something he stumbled upon, it was a family inheritance. His father was a professional player in Lithuania, carving out a career in the country's top league. His mother, once considered one of the best young talents of her generation, represented the Lithuanian national team at the youth level. His maternal grandfather coached, while his paternal grandfather, Petras Buzelis, achieved legendary status, captaining Žalgiris Kaunas to 6 championships and representing Lithuania's senior national team. The Buzelis name was already etched into basketball's history books long before Matas ever touched a ball. But Matas wasn't born in Lithuania. His parents immigrated to the United States in the early 2000s, and he was raised in Chicago, Illinois. While he carried the pride of his heritage, his upbringing was quintessentially American. Strangely enough, basketball wasn't his first love. In 6th grade, he barely touched the court. Instead, he was drawn to swimming and gymnastics, too, sports that demanded agility, balance, and raw endurance. At one point, he was even the best breaststroke swimmer in the entire state of Illinois for his age group. He was flexible, coordinated, and conditioned long before he ever dominated the hardwood. Gymnastics gave him balance and body control. Swimming gave him lung capacity and stamina. When he finally committed to basketball, he brought with him an arsenal of physical gifts that made his transition look effortless. He wasn't just another kid chasing a dream. He was an athlete with a foundation far different from his peers, a 3rd-generation hooper destined to take the family legacy further than anyone before him. By high school, Matas had separated himself from the pack. After transferring to Brewster Academy, a program known for producing NBA talent like Donovan Mitchell and TJ Warren, he quickly proved he belonged among the elite. He played alongside Terrence Clark, the late Kentucky commit and future lottery pick whose life was tragically cut short in a car accident. Together, the two formed one of the most electric duos in high school basketball. Matas wasn't just another tall forward with potential. He was skilled, versatile, and fearless. In his junior year, he averaged 11.4 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 2.1 assists, winning state Gatorade Player of the Year honors while leading his team to a prep school championship. His senior year was even more impressive. He put up 15.7 points per game on over 50% shooting, knocking down 43% from beyond the arc and earning his 2nd Gatorade Player of the Year award, this time in Kansas. His matchup against Cooper Flagg in Montverde Academy became a defining moment. Under the bright lights, with everyone watching the 2 best high school prospects in America, it was Buzelis who rose to the occasion, hitting threes, pulling down boards, and swatting shots in a performance that had scouts buzzing. He wasn't just hype. He was reality. His McDonald's All-American performance, his dominance in showcase games, and his show-stealing dunk contest win over Bronny James solidified his reputation. ESPN ranked him 5th nationally. Rivals had him at number 4. He had scholarship offers from blue blood programs like Kentucky, North Carolina, and Florida State. And yet, in a shocking move, he turned them all down. Matas chose the G League. Ignite. It was a bold decision. One part financial, one part basketball. The $1 million contract was enticing, sure, but his reasoning went deeper. He wanted to prepare for the NBA by facing grown men under NBA rules. He wanted to learn from pro coaches and trainers. He wanted the challenge, the grind, the bruises. That came with real competition. At the time, he was projected to go number 1 overall. Everything was falling into place, but the gamble came with risk, and soon enough, those risks became reality. The G League Ignite wasn't built to last. What began as an NBA-backed alternative to college basketball quickly showed cracks. By the time Buzelis suited up, doubts were already swirling. Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga had underwhelmed. Scoot Henderson hadn't transformed into the franchise cornerstone people expected, and other highly touted prospects like Jaden Hardy and Isaiah Todd had seen their stock plummet after Ignite stints. When the 2023-24 Ignite season ended in disaster, on a 2-34 record, including a 32-game losing streak, it cemented the program's reputation as a failed experiment. The losses reflected poorly on the players, particularly Buzelis and teammate Ron Holland. If they couldn't lift a G League team, how could they lead an NBA franchise? As draft night approached, the noise grew louder. Zachary Reese emerged as the new favorite, and Buzelis, frustrated and confident in his abilities, publicly challenged Reese to a one-on-one showdown. It was brash, old school, and refreshing. In an era where top prospects often hide behind agents and scripted PR moves, Buzelis wanted to compete. He wasn't afraid of the spotlight, he demanded it. But bravado wasn't enough to stop his slide. When Adam Silver walked to the podium on draft night, the fall became official. One by one, the names were called, and one by one, teams passed him over. Finally, with the 11th pick, the Chicago Bulls selected Matas Buzelis, a Chicago kid coming home, embraced instantly by a fan base, desperate for hope after years of mediocrity. What some saw as a gamble, Bulls fans saw as destiny. But being drafted is one thing, living up to it is another. Buzelis' rookie journey was anything but smooth.